Okay, in our preparation for MAP testing, which is coming right up for our spring scores, there are two options that I want you to think about, okay? One is that you can go to the Wayne website. So everybody's eyes need to be on the computer. Promethean board, you can go to www.wayne.k12.ia.us. You're familiar with that because of Accelerated Reader, right? If you scroll down on the left-hand side, you will see your link for Math, Map, Test Prep, right? And we've done that before on the Chromebooks, okay? But it'll give you your RIT scores, and you can choose activities to prepare us for that. We're good with that, right?
Yep.
Okay. The other option, and this is the one I want you to take notes on, you can go to, just copy down the black part, www.classzone.com. Okay? www.classzone.com. Okay? Then it's going to ask you down here to choose your subject. Mine already says math. You may have to. Okay? So choose math down here. Everybody see where I'm at? Choose the state of Iowa. And then you choose number 3, find your book. Okay? Ours is the top there where it says course 1. It's the man on the skateboard. Okay? Right here. So on your notes, I want you to write course 1. And maybe you just want to write skateboard, okay? Or top row, or whatever you need to write for that, okay? So you click that. Over to the left are examples of things that you can do. These are your video tutors that we have watched in class, okay? You can look down at the chapters. The chapters that we did are chapters 7 through 13, okay? Let's say I'm going to choose chapter 13 on probability. Then underneath it, it gives you the specific choices for the ones that you maybe want to have some help with. Okay? Good with video tutors?
Yeah.
Okay? These are your PowerPoints. And PowerPoints are things that are going to help us move forward. Let's say I want to talk about chapter 11. Let's say I want to do the first lesson. It's going to download for you. You're going to click on it. And then you just click to go through it.
So like what we normally do?
Yep, just like what we normally do. Okay, but those are some things that you can do on your own. The other thing I want to talk about is over to the left. There are things like more examples. Those are some good things that you could do that I don't do in class with you. There's other things like home tutors. They kind of give you some things that will help you with your lessons on what we've been talking about. Okay? So classzone.com. Also, to the right, there are some puzzles and games. There's math vocab flip cards, so just kind of reviewing the words. There's brain games, all of those things. Say it.
Like, can we do all these that are on there?
Sure. You can do whatever you have time for and whatever you think is going to be the most beneficial to you, okay? So you got to pay attention when you click puzzles and games, like it says chapters 1 through 3. Then it says chapters 4 through 6. You guys want to get into the 7, 9, and chapters 10 through 13. Those are the ones that you need to worry about. Okay?
So like,
Hannah?
Is there a password for this?
No. Good question. Nope. Like I said, you guys see me get on it, and I go through it, right? And so then you kind of wonder, do you have to be a teacher? No. www.classzone.com. Okay? Yes?
Is that one thing that they showed you have to teach your staff do? What's the name of that where you can make your own flip charts and stuff?
That's Quizlet. Quizlet is more of a thing that you kind of need me to make and then those passed on to you. Yes, so that isn't something you can study tonight quite yet, but that was a good question. Okay? All right, so now just put that paper aside and we're going to review our graphs and Dennelly's plots and all those kinds of things, okay? Yes. So these are just the main graphs, okay? So we're going to go through these fairly quickly. Nobody's on the board. We're just looking at the Promethean board, okay? So you don't need your individual boards yet. Graphs, these are things like your bar graphs, right? And we know that bar graphs are just a way that we can organize data. Doesn't go over time like a line graph. Doesn't represent a whole necessarily like a pie graph, those kinds of things, all right? Double bar graphs, you know that the two bars stick together. Okay, so like this case, the blues representing the girls with pets and the reds representing the boys. You can have a bar graph that goes this direction. Most of the time we see them the other way. Those are another example of a double bar graph. This is your histogram. We haven't talked about a histogram for a little bit. A histogram are bars that touch. They give a representation of a range of data. So like this is miles run by 5th graders, and these are your miles ran. So this gives you the bar for how many 5th graders ran 0 to 4 miles, and so on. And so they group together. There's more histograms. We're just doing a quick review. Here's your frequency table and a tally chart. There's your pie graph, which compares information related to a whole, okay? And so on. This one is our box and whiskers, right? And remember that now it's not just necessarily called box and whisker plots. They can just be called box plots, okay? Before I go to the next slide, who can tell me the 5 points that you need for a box and whisker plot? Garrett?
All of them.
Okay, what are they? Can you name them?
Low extreme.
Yes.
Upper extreme.
Yes.
Medium. Low quartile and upper quartile.
Good. Median. Lower extreme, upper extreme, median, lower quartile, and upper quartile. And we know what those mean. We've been practicing that. So here they are, right? Here's our lower extreme that makes a whisker. Our upper extreme makes a whisker. Our median is the middle of the box. Lower quartile and upper quartile. Okay? Going on, it tells us to make our number line. Remember to number your number line appropriately and spread it out. Don't get it all crowded. Okay? What is the word that tells me what a box and whisker does with data? Kenna?
Spread out.
It shows you the spread of data. That's the purpose of it. It shows you the smallest number in your data set, shows you the largest number in your data set, shows you the middle, so on. Okay, very good. Box and whiskers, how do we feel about that? Okay? Don't forget that you want to put them in order. We want to go from least to greatest, and then find the middle, median, those kinds of things. Remember that if you have 2 numbers that are in a median, or 2 numbers that are in a lower quartile or upper quartile, what do I do with those? Maya?
You add them up and then divide by 2.
Yes, it's like you have to find the average of those 2 numbers. Perfect. Okay? Good? Examples of a box and whisker. If you review an example of it, we can use information from that. We know that we identified those 5 points, but also from that box and whisker, we can identify the range. Someone tell me what the range is. What's the range? Grant?
Biggest minus small.
Yeah, it's finding the biggest number in your data set and subtracting it from the smallest. What are the words, the fancy words of our 5 data points that those represent? What are these? The dots that make your whiskers? What are those called?
Wait, the very bottom?
Like here, this little dot here.
Like little purple.
The purple dots. Trent, can you help?
The lower and upper extreme.
Perfect.
Oh,
The low, right? Yeah, sorry, maybe you didn't understand what I was asking. The lower extreme is your smallest number, your upper extremes are your greatest. And so if you just subtract those, you can get the range. Okay? Good. Moving on. All right, let's go to the stem and leaf plot. Okay? This is the one I want to review a little bit more intensely today. The reason I want to do that is I want to reteach it from our lesson. We had to make a stem and leaf plot, and we kind of got stumbled again. Okay? So I think we need to review that one more time. Okay? Stem and leaf plot. Here we go. Remember when you do the stem and leaf plot, has that funny name, doesn't really have anything to do with the stem and leaf necessarily, right? Remember that it is a T-chart, okay? It is a T-chart. These are your what to the left? Raise your hand and tell me what's to the left. Bailey?
Stem.
These are your stems. See, let me get to black. These are your stems. Luke, what's to the right?
Leaves.
Leaves. Okay? Now, who can read me the data off the stem and leaf plot? What is the set of data? And I want you to look at this, right? Look at this and try to read it from me. Maya?
Like you want me to read this down? Okay.
Yeah.
So 1, 4, 4, 8, 8, 9, 15, 18, 19, 22, 27.
Perfect. What that means is that you have no tens in these. These are all ones. So 1, 4, 4, so on. This represents your tens place, and you put your ones with it. Good. Remember that you have to have a title. They don't really have a specific identification of what this data set is, so they just call it numbers. Okay? And remember that you have to have a key. You can use any number here to represent your key. It just has to be a number that's on your stem and leaf plot. Okay? We good? Do we have commas in our leaves? We don't have commas in our leaves, okay? We do not have commas. All right, so I want you to make your own. So now you can use your board, okay? Use your board. You have several numbers, so you're going to have to write fairly small. Yes?
How come, like,
Okay? You think of it. All right, so first thing we have to do is write them what?
least to greatest.
Least to greatest, okay? So everybody's writing their numbers least to greatest.
Least in the top and the bottom?
Yes.
Top. Okay.
Thank you.
I'm sure somewhere we could cross them also.
I know, that would be better, wouldn't it? Yeah, Logan.
I didn't need a marker.
Yes, is it not working?
It's really low and it's
Okay.
hard to write with.
Sorry.
Here you go, sir. Let's try the number 3, shall we?
Yeah, that's good. Thank you, Miss Davis. Is that whole thing one grade?
Yes. Oh, yep. Now remember, if you're copying from a board or copying from your book, you got to be really, make sure you have them all right. And when you have them in order from least to greatest, count and make sure you have enough that your data set numbers match. Yes.
So do we know if those in or we have to put them in all these areas?
I want you to put them in order from least to greatest first, and then you make your statement flat. Okay? And when you order data sets at the top, you have commas? Yeah, because they have commas in their data set, right? It's when you actually make the leaves that you don't have commas anymore.
Why is that?
Because it's just representing the ones. You're just supposed to know that that's part of your graph, so they don't need them. Yeah. Yep. Okay. Which you're doing it. Just put them in order first, and then you'll make sure you have them all. Good, Grayson. Good.
Wait, you asked me if
Are you doing okay? Yeah. So you should have 19 numbers when you get them all in order from least to greatest, okay? 19 numbers.